I'm passionate about pangolins and I love wildlife rescue. So I went to South Africa to meet Emma, who works at a wildlife rehabilitation centre.
Hi, I'm Emma Diaka and I am one of the co-owners of Umoya Khulula Wildlife Centre. So Umoya Khulula stands for free spirit because we believe all wild animals should be that in the wild. We work with a huge amount of different species at the centre, one of which is the endangered Temminck's ground pangolin. So pangolins are being poached at an alarming rate through Africa and in Asia for the markets in Asia, unfortunately, for their scales. Their scales cover their whole body. It's about 20% of their body weight, and they're made up of keratin. In some cultures, unfortunately, people believe that this scales, the keratin, can be used for medicinal purposes. So these scales are ground up into a powder and put in either tablet form or put in teas so people can drink because they believe it's going to cure them of their ailments. Scientifically, we know that that's not the case, but unfortunately, as culture is, it has grown to be a big problem for the pangolins. So what we do here at the centre is try and get all the pangolins we can that have been confiscated from that wildlife trade back out into the wild where they belong. So we had one pangolin come in, her name is Lily, that we are all absolutely in love with, but she was kept for 3 weeks in a rucksack, hung in a tree outside, and this was in the middle of summer, so it was about 45-degree heat. No food, no water, no ventilation. That's 3 weeks in that bag. And as you can imagine, she came in horrific condition. She was severely dehydrated, severely emaciated. She had a few wounds where she had tried to escape this bag, and just a broken animal. So yeah, 90% of them are coming in really, really horrific conditions. They normally come in with pneumonia. Pretty much all of them, as the stress levels bring on the pneumonia in them. And pure starvation and dehydration. A human could not go that long without food and water, so they're very resilient animals. They surprise us sometimes, but yeah, we also see them coming out with scales that have been ripped off, limbs that have been cut so they can't move. They get rolled into their balls and wired up into those balls, so they actually start suffocating on disease in their urine. So yeah, we've seen some very, very bad cases, and some of the pangolins that come in actually are not from the trade. They've been electrocuted on fence lines in South Africa, which is a huge problem here also. So these electrocution burns and the trauma that comes from electrocution can lead to paralysis and a lot of different ailments. From start to finish of rehabilitation for a pangolin costs a lot of money. These animals, as I said, come in horrific conditions, so medical costs are pretty high. We do a lot of treatment on them, and we also do CT scans and a lot of medical procedures. Then they come to the rehab part of it. Some can be in rehab up to a year, so that's a long time to be in captivity. And then comes the release, which is also a 12-month period once they're released that we monitor them. They're fitted with tags, so satellite tags and telemetry tags, so we can track them on release. So in total, between 120 to 250,000 rand for one pangolin. If we were to add on to that the labour and the cost to house these pangolins, depending on how long they're in captivity with us, it would range from another maybe 20 to 50,000 on top of that. So pangolins are pretty hard compared to a lot of animals that we have in the rehab. So they will not eat in captivity. Pangolins only eat ants and termites, but they want to find their own ants and termites. So we have to let them forage for themselves. So this means that every day or night, depending on the season, we have to allow the pangolins to walk and forage for themselves. So we have a walker and a handler that walks them for 5 to 6 hours per day or night every single day. So it's very labor intensive. We go on their schedule. So in winter months, pangolins do wake up a little bit earlier because it's cooler, but in the summer months, they're completely nocturnal. So if they wake up at 12 o'clock at night, we're walking them at 12 o'clock at night. Or if they wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, we're walking them at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it's a very intense job. We're out in the bush a lot looking after them. But we have found this is truly the best way for them to get their natural diet in. And the quicker they get back to health is the quicker we can put them out. And that's the hardest part, to find a safe release site for these animals. We always look for a property that is over 5,000 hectares. Now this is a big piece of property, but as we know so little about pangolins and their distribution and their population, we have to make sure we're not encroaching on another pangolin's territory. We also, electric fences is a big issue. So we don't want that pangolin to come across a fence. So the exterior fences as well of the reserve will have to not have that bottom trip line of an electric fence. And we're ideally looking for a low predator count. Some of these pangolins come in quite young and are not so aware to predators. Also, we are walking in these reserves every night, so it's a security risk for us. So the less predators, the better, but unfortunately sometimes there are reserves where there are predators on. So when we found the perfect property to release the pangolins, we do what we call a soft release on these guys. So we take the pangolin to that property, and from anywhere between 3 days to up to 2 weeks, we will walk that pangolin on the property with us to let it get used to the area. We'll see hopefully good behavior from the pangolin in the sense of foraging, feeling comfortable in the area. Once the pangolin's ticking all our boxes and we're seeing that it's eating and it feels comfortable, we will then allow that pangolin to stay out and go ahead and forage without us. But we then for the next month will be checking up on that pangolin twice a day to make sure that he's still doing well. We take weights every day to make sure he's either sustaining the weight or gaining, and we're always documenting how they're walking, how they're feeding, and if we're taking research, we'll be collecting scat samples. Each pangolin is tagged so we can track them, which is very nice. After that initial kind of month, 2-month period, we then back off a little bit and we start reducing the amount that we're interfering and let them become a wild pangolin. But we keep tabs on them for a year after release to make sure they're doing exactly what they're meant to be doing. Always donations towards the cause is always going to be helpful. Also spreading the word. The amount of people in this world that still don't know what this pangolin is, it should not be the case. This animal is near to extinction, and it's not going to take me or a few others to save the whole species. The whole world needs to get involved to save the species and to educate people about this animal. So definitely going and researching and educating people is a really, really big thing that people can do also. So education is the most important factor here. If we can educate the young in the schools, we can make a huge difference and an impact on this species. As humans, we need to connect with a species or anything to really engage. So we are going forward and going to be doing some virtual education to educate in schools and on the internet. And this will be basically people can come and walk with us with the pangolin. They get to experience it, even though they might not be in the country with us, but they will get to experience it virtually, this animal, of how it walks, how it eats, his behavior, his personality, because they're mammals. They have these amazing personalities. So that is going to be the next big step, to educate old and young, to try and push everyone to realise that this is a species, it's on the brink of extinction, and if we don't act now, there won't be a tomorrow for them.
If you would like to help support the pangolins, then please share this video. A lot of people don't even know what a pangolin is. So if you can share this video, and if you would like to donate, there is a donation page on the website, and we will also have some links below. Thank you.